bumping away, streaming for all to see. Cachorro, Cachorro. There's a dawn superheroes day today for you and me. Cachorro,
What's up, Cachorrites? Welcome to another recap video. So we made a video about the first two episodes of Agatha. I haven't done an episode for each episode, so I figured we'll just do a mid-season roughly recap. It's maybe slightly past mid-season. 8 episodes is the total, or 9 episodes is the total. And we've just had episode 6. So 3 episodes left. I think the last 2 are on the same day, so I figured where we start off. But so far, I really enjoyed these first 2 episodes. I liked the feel for the show. I liked the quirkiness, the weirdness. It's witches. Yes, it has Marvel on it, folks. Marvel makes other comic books besides guy in suit shooting beam at guy in suit. They've done horror comics. They do Star Wars comics. They've done Aliens comics and Predator comics. So yeah, they do. You know, they'll dabble in other things from time to time. So this is not a superhero show. It's Marvel Hocus Pocus. I think people like use that as an insult, but that's not an insult. Hocus Pocus is like a favorite popular Halloween movie. There's my sister-in-law, I think, loves that movie. So it's just, hey, we're doing a little Halloween show about witches, and I liked it. I thought it was interesting. The characters were interesting, and it was quirky. And like I said, I mean, there's a few drawbacks. Or I think Catherine Hahn may have been doing it a little over the top, and she does that again. We get a little bit more of that at the end of these next. What is it? 3 episodes? 3 episodes? 4 episodes? 4 episodes? All right. But it's still pretty interesting. So I'm still enjoying the show. I'm still really liking it. Looking at the IMDb ratings for each episode, and so I give the first 2 episodes were 7s, so they've been staying around the same here. So pretty impressive so far. I can't really lie. I'd say 7. 7 sounds good. That's probably where I'd probably put the show. So say it's a 7 for me. It's still been definitely a fun and quirky watch. Let's see here. Episode 3 was when they started their tale down through many miles of tricks and trials. This when they started their path on the witch's road. Their first trial took them to like this real fancy mansion, and it had wine and all this fancy stuff. There's kind of sort of some themes here a little bit. So I guess maybe the Real Housewives kind of thing. I don't really. This was kind of the weirdest one. They were all, and every time they go into one of these things, it would they'd automatically their clothes would change to match whatever it was going for. So they're all in nice fancy out, or not like dresses and stuff like that, but like just some really preppy for clothing and stuff like that. They all drink this wine, and it's poisoning them and killing them. And the trial is for, oh God. Let's go back to the main page. What's her character name? Jennifer Kale? Thought she had a better witch's name than that, but I guess not. So this was meant for Jennifer Kale's character. She was the witch that could like do potions and stuff like that, and she was like the one that was in trouble for some of her stuff may not have been legal. So she had to come up with the potion to save all their lives. And as they're each looking for all the ingredients, we get like these little teases of what brought them there. Let's see. I think she had something with her mom. Alice had something with her mom. I think all of them had something with their moms. Mom, what was hers? I don't remember what hers was. So they kind of get some little flashbacks of their fears and stuff like that they had to like overcome, and so they all had to do it, and then they all had to drink the potion to beat the thing. The first person to drink down the wine was Mrs. Hart, who's not, as we know, is not technically wasn't really a witch. So their faces would get all bloated and stuff like that, and then they got to the point where they would like pretty much pass out. Well, then they would kind of get felt better, then they'd pass out. So they all get where they design everything, they all drink it, but everyone forgets that she's passed out over on the table, so they almost fail. And then the house kind of like goes underwater. All of a sudden, it's like surrounded by water, and then the glass breaks and the water starts coming in. So they have to hurry up and like pour it down her throat, and then that opens up a stove. They all have to climb through the stove, which is climbing in a stove, right? And like it's like a big slide that takes them back down to the witch's road. But in the process, Mrs. Hart does not recover. She dies. So they kill off Miss Hart. And that's pretty much where that one ended. So then episode 4, If I Can't Reach You, Let My Song Teach You. And so first they start off with they need a new witch to replace Miss Hart. They have to have a green witch. So they kind of do a summon spell to summon a green witch. And it brings in Aubrey Plaza's character, Rio Vidal. So this brings her through. So we're getting the interaction, but he obviously knowing that she's weird and she's crazy, and the other ones are a little wild of her, but they also don't like Agatha. But we also keep teasing between the history between her and Agatha as well. This one they go in their trial, and it turns into this is like where's the horror one? One was a horror one. I think that was the 70s one, right? So that's where they go into. It's like a 70s style. Everybody's in like 70s garb. And it's like a big music studio. And I'm pretty sure this is the one where... So this one focuses on Alice and her past. And the demon that killed her mother decades ago. So she had this mark, and then all of them started getting the same mark. So her curse, so she was cursed, and her curse was starting to spread to all the others. So her mother was a musician. We learned that from the beginning, and she would take some of the witches' songs and turn them, like she did the Witch's Road song, and she turned it into like pretty much a big hit song. So that to them, they all had to do this musical act. So they all had to perform the song, the actual the musical version of the song. And the demon shows up, and Alice is able to see the demon, and she's able to, with the power of the song and confronting it, she's able to destroy the demon and break her curse. So Alice is played by Ali Khan. During this, Agatha also tries to trick Rhea by they go into like the master room, and she's like, "So what do you what do you think we should do? What do me and you, what do you think we should do?" And then she, with her hand on the back, she pushes on the speaker button, and Rhea's like, "Oh, we should just kill them all, and just to finish the road and get the power for ourselves and just kill them all." Like, I can't believe you would say that about my comics. Catherine Hahn is great at this character. She does really good at this character. She gets the manipulativeness of the character. This is like, she's the perfect, another perfect casting choice. Because she just really, really gets that character to go so well. I was just showing them the quotes when they were summoning the witch. When they're summoning it and they got Riaz like, may she be strong and wise and best at her craft. May she be smart and not annoying and also not super political. May she be pleasant looking. Can she bring some Advil? There's some really good quotes. And some of these, there's some really good acting group talent that they have on the show. They're very entertaining. So she beats the demon, and they're able to. So they passed their second trial. So this episode, so I'd say they're about it's on par. I think people did put it down a little bit, so I'd say it's probably on par. Then I think we definitely take an up or take in the next two though. I do think the next two get really good. So the episode 5 is The Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power. I love the title names. They also got like the witch's chant kind of theme to them, so they do good on that too. So this one is like an 80s horror movie, slasher movie theme location. They always like wearing 80s clothes. This trial goes towards Agatha, as she has to deal with her mother's ghost. Also, we're jumping ahead a little bit there, aren't we? So on the road. So the first shows that they're on the road, and they start. Then the Salem 7 show up and start coming after them. So the way to get away from them, they find, is they have to go to old-fashioned witchcraft, and they have to make a broom. So they make the brooms, and then they got to exchange brooms with each other, and then they're able to use the broom to fly, and they're like all talking about how this is so old school, and this is so like they hate doing it because it's the cliche having a witch with a broom. So I was like, we don't like doing this. We hate these things because this is what people always typecast us with. So they do the brooms and they start flying off, and then the road pulls them back down. Well, at some point pulls them back down. So they fly way up in the air to get away from the 7, but then they get pulled back down to the road, and they're able to beat the Salem 7 into the next house, and they couldn't get in. And then we're in an 80s cabin in the woods kind of thing. And then Agatha has to confront the ghost of her mother, and her killing of her mother's coven. So there's part where Agatha kind of gets a little possessed, gets a little ringish looking at times, doing some freaky stuff and attacking the group. And so Agatha, possessed by her mother, is getting ready to attack the group, and then Alice has to spring in the action and use her powers to hold Agatha back, which knocks the ghost out of Agatha. But as we know, if you shoot Agatha with your powers, she can absorb your powers, and that's how she gets power. So Agatha starts absorbing Alice's power and won't stop. And then Teen using the Ouija board, they had to use the Ouija board to commune to the dead. Some spirit tells her the name of Agatha's. Now we've had some jokes. There's one point where Agatha thought it was. They confronted the fact that Agatha thought it might be that Teen is her son, and then at the end of that episode, there was Albert Plaza's character was like, he's not yours. So that's how that one ended. So when he's he's using the Ouija board, he gets the ghost, and he's able to say the name of her son. And that's what actually stops her from absorbing the power. But unfortunately, it appears that they tried, but Alice dies. When Agatha killed her original coven by stealing their powers because her own mother tried to have her executed, are you really defending a noted serial killer, you creepy lurker? Come on, someone finish the story. So, Oh. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what the hell? Billie Eilish wrote it. That was like this a song. Her song was in this. Was in the show. Um. So then they get the door opens. They're able to go out. And everybody's starting to turn on Agatha since she killed Alice, and Teen kind of just. So what the rest of the coven actually grabs Agatha, and they throw her into. They set this up earlier in one of the other episodes. So if you go off the witch's road, it's like quicksandish mud kind of stuff that will just pull you under. So if you step in the wrong spot, you sink into the mud. So they throw Agatha into that, and then Teen just snaps. You see him get a little band on his head, kind of look like the Scarlet Witch, and he pops some blue powers, and he throws all the witches into the sinking mud. And that's where that episode ends, revealing that, as rumors expected, this is Wiccan, Scarlet Witch's child, the son of Scarlet Witch. Otherwise known as... Is he named Billy in the comics? Well, we find out in the next episode. So because we get that reveal... That was, like I said, this was really... I like this episode a lot. This was the horror theme in the horror house, the ghost, and... So this one, this is definitely one of the upper ones for the series. So, of course, that takes us to episode 6, Familiar by My Side. This is where we get our flashback episode of Teen. So this episode opens with a bar mitzvah. Oh, look, they got his name on here now. Huh? So it opens up, looks like they got like a bar mitzvah. He's coming of age. And he's setting the party. And just... She wasn't in that episode, was she? Which one is her? Or Susine Witch? I think that's an old episode. So I think it's Lilia. Cause I think that's just a very old picture of her. Yeah, it has to be her. All right, so that's just wow. They got really IMDb's got a very older picture, picture of her way younger. So he goes into this soothsayer, and it is our soothsayer witch Lilia Caldero, and she kind of starts doing the whole palm read thing, and she's clearly just doing the faking it, kind of like, oh, your future has many life stuff, and this and this and this and this and this and this, and like just the upbeat stuff. I was like, wait, your life, whatever, is cut in two. And she starts actually getting a premonition off of him, like something bad's about to happen to what's in his future. She kind of plays it off, and he gets up and goes back up to gets him to go back out to his party, but he leaves his jacket behind, and she paints a little symbol on a piece of like a little tiny piece of wood chip, puts it in his pocket. And then goes out, finds like another adult for the party. Goes, hey, a kid left this in here. And like, which kid was it? I don't remember. So we find out she is the one that put the sigil on him, which is very interesting. So that the whole, because they said that whoever puts the sigil on him, this is one of the episodes too. So whoever puts the sigil on him wouldn't remember doing it because that's the price of it. They forget that they did it. And they forget all about it. So we find out it was her who did it. So as the bar mitzvah goes on, all of a sudden somebody comes in and says, hey, there's something going on in the Westview with the anomaly. Everybody needs to go home. So this is all happening during the time of WandaVision. So everybody's like kind of panicking and running home. A lot of people don't know exactly what the anomaly was, what's going on over there. So they're driving down the road. They're driving home. The parents are in the front seat. He's in the back. And they're like, what's going on? Is it getting smaller? It looks like it's getting smaller. So they're distracted. Now, here's the interesting part I've noticed too. So I did notice this. So they're kind of looks like they're distracted driving. And all of a sudden, like, Mom, look out. And then she looks forward. There's a truck coming out, and they got to swerve out of the way for the truck. Watching closely, the truck is the one that's on the wrong side of the road. The truck was in their lane on the right side of the road. We're in England. We're in America. That's not like in Britain. So the truck was in the right lane. So he was like, they were going the right lane. The truck was coming at them in the right lane. So the truck was technically in the wrong side of the road from that video. And I watched. So if you watch it, you'll notice that. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the truck was the one that was in the wrong lane. Because I did watch it. Well, I started one night. When I lay down to go to sleep, and I made it like halfway through. Then I watched it again the next day. So I do remember the second time I watched it that the truck was in the wrong lane. But they had to swerve the way out of the truck. The car goes off the road, swerves, and the back half of the sedan like whacks into a tree. And Will, as we find out his name at this point, his name is Will, is bleeding from his head. He's unconscious. They don't think he's breathing. So the parents are panicking. They're trying to go find paramedic and stuff. Everybody, these cops and stuff, cops are flying by. So all the sound muffles out, and we can just hear his heartbeat. The heartbeat slowing, and it stops. And then you just hear a chant, like a boy doing a chant, and he wakes up and goes, "Tommy!" So this is the time that everything crashed. Like the anomaly character, this is where Wanda kind of finally gave in, and she ended she ended the Westview, and she took down the dome, freed everybody, and of course her children. She had to lose her children and stuff at the same time, and Vision. So they let them go. So this kind of looks like this is happening at the same time. So somebody wakes. He's obviously at this full amnesia. And then we go through him coming from the hospital and coming home, and he can hear his parents' thoughts and stuff like that. We jump 3 years, and we see Will with his boyfriend, which I'm sure this is what's going to get a lot of the internet bitching. Blah, 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 blah. Even though Wiccan is a gay character in the comics. Oh, I love the argument people make, like, stop changing characters, just create new ones. They did create a new one, and you guys bitched about it. Reveal falls flat. I disagree. So I can find some of this there. Wiccan, the character from Marvel. I was curious, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so it was Billy reincarnated himself as Billy, and he reincarnated himself as William Maximoff. So in the story, in the comic books, he also jumped into another body. So that is also from the comics. In the comics, his love interest is Hawkling. So, yeah, so that's straight from the comics. This is a character that was wrote that way from the beginning, so stop your bitching. Nothing stops the internet from bitching. So it was William Maximoff, Billy, from the comics. So I was thinking he had a different name for it first. I wasn't sure if he had the same name or not. But so that's all from the comics. So that didn't change anything there. So they're kind of making out, kissing in the car, and he hears his thoughts saying, I guess he wants to tell him that he loves him and stuff like that. And then he said, "Well, I gotta come clean." William, whatever his last name at the time, his the real last name, the person's last name died 3 years ago in this incident. It's like, well, then who are you? So he starts going through shows where he's doing all this research and stuff like that about Westview, and like, oh, I thought that was, everybody said that was like a Avengers training exercise gone wrong. So it shows that there was a cover up for Westview. So someone covered it up and didn't like reveal that it was the Scarlet Witch went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So it was 100%. So it was covered up by someone, and like all the people would not refuse to talk to it and all that stuff like that. But he's like, hey, I got this source. They go to meet the source, and I knew who it was going to be. I was like, well, I've straightened it. He's like, I got this source who wants to meet with me secretly and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's going to be Boner. It's totally going to be Boner. And Evan Peters makes his return as Ralph/Randolph Boner. Where he kind of starts giving in. I was like, well, we already knew he had pictures of the anomaly where everybody said it was this and that. And he goes, hey, look right there. That's a rune. That's a witch. It's witchcraft. There's something with witches. So he saw some of the, like when Scarlet Witch was doing the runes on the side, like trapping Agatha in the runes. So yeah, Ralph's like saying, well, there was a witch and she took over everybody's minds. And you can also hear his thoughts a little bit, and he goes, please don't ask me about Agatha Harkness. So you go, well, who's Agatha Harkness? So he's kind of getting this guy to reveal a lot of stuff, and that Agatha Harkness is the evil witch that was even worse than Wanda and stuff like that. And then we cut back, and he's at home. He's researching more witch stuff, like doing deep dives into the dark web of witches, searching for Agatha Harkness. And I guess he's got the record of the musician chick. Oh, I forgot to mention. When he hit the tree and he died, Alice was there. So our cop lady, she was a cop at the time, so she actually showed up there. But so he's at home studying everything. He's got a record on. It plays the pop singer Alice's mom's song of the Witch's Road. He's starting to learn about the Witch's Road, so now that's where he decides he has to go meet up with Agatha. He needs to go kind of find out from Agatha about the Witch's Road. So we have this scene from his side of things where he's breaking in to look for information on the Witch's Road. And then Agatha starts, like, he breaks the lamp and Agatha starts chasing him. And you hear him like, oh, no, just stop, slow, just relax, calm down. And he's kind of like talking back to her, telling her, I'm sorry, I'll stop when you stop. And she catches him, and then we see him like in her house, and he's the interrogation scene. And then we saw from her point of view, where it was in a police station. Now he's in her living room, and she's going through that whole, and she's reenacting everything she said, and he's saying other things to her that she's not hearing. Until he points out the pictures are of daisies in someone's yard. And that's when we see her start. So we get a little bit more of that scene that did bother me in the first episode, where she's kind of overdoing it, overhamming it as the cop part, like, asleep in bed, truth or liar. Like, no cop would talk like that. You're like so over. That's a little Jim Carrey like overacting. Where sometimes you go, the comedian that would just overdo their part a little bit and just go too much, ham it up. Jim Carrey or just someone else that could do that. I can't think of some other names right now that would do that. So like I said, that was my flaw in the first two episodes, was maybe overdoing it just a tad. So we get the whole point where, and then it's like goes through like cuts of the scenes of everything where she wakes, of the stuff we saw in the first episode. They get together, blah 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 blah. And then we finally cut back to where the last episode laid off. And he's standing there, and then we see Agatha find like a vine or something like that, and she's able to pull her way out of the muck, or whatever it's called. She frees herself, and she confronts him. It's like, yeah, I had a feeling who you was. It's nice to see you again, Billy. So he's like, I thought it may have been you. I thought you may have been her son. There's similarities, but then I had questions. But then, yeah, I figured out it. But then I was verified, and this little stump proves it. So they kind of like, hey, we got, I don't need you. You don't need me. Well, you need me. He's like, I don't need you now. I doubt all the powers. Like, but you don't know how to control. You have the power and all that stuff and the temper. And you want more than that. There's something else you want because it's not mommy. It's not daddy. There was another one. Oh, that's right. Toby. He's like Tommy. So I guess it's pairing that he's looking for his brother. Which I don't know why he would be mad about his. I think he'd be wanting to find his mom too, but. So they kind of have the back and forth a little bit, but then they kind of agree to stay together and take off down the road. Meanwhile, the other witches who sank in the mud the previous episode still have not crawled back. So I doubt they're dead. I definitely don't think Aubrey Plaza's dead. She's probably like kind of the big villain. Sort of the villain. I mean, Catherine Hahn's the villain, but she's pretty riveted to the plot. So I definitely think there's a 100% chance she's coming back. Do we know anything about any? Just an overview of all the cast that we don't know. So I think 100% chance that Rhea is not obviously going to be back. I'm 90% positive that Lily and Jennifer are going to be back. I don't think that they should. I don't think. I mean, that's a crap way just to kill them off like that. I mean, pretty sure Alice is dead. I give her maybe a 30% chance of surviving, but I do believe they killed her off. Did I know her from anything? She does look familiar. Nope. She's been in some stuff, but nothing that I've really watched. 3 episodes of Supernatural. I never actually finished Supernatural. Sorry. They kind of lost interest in Supernatural when they stopped being about supernatural and started to be about religion. It was all gods and angels and devil and stuff. When it was like the Chupacabras and the werewolves and vampires and ghosts and all that kind of stuff, the first couple episodes of the show, I really loved that. That was really awesome. And then they kind of just expanded the other stuff, and that's where I kind of started dropping out of my interest. So I definitely think Alice is definitely dead. I don't think they're going to be able to bring her back. I think that's got to stick. But I think the other 3 witches will be back. I think they're going to get out of the muck. So I think they will survive. Now, where we're going with I don't know. It's very. I don't know. So obviously, he's a Maximoff, and so those 2 are definitely bigger characters. Aubrey Plaza is Ria Vidal, but is there going to be someone else bigger still to be revealed? Will we get a Wanda Spotty? Will Wanda show up? Or will they leave her character dead? Seeing not much. Who are these 2 characters? They're appearing in all the episodes. So who are you? Because I don't think you have any. You don't have a character name under you. Paul. And you're only in 1 episode. Well, there you got a character name there. Jeff Kaplan. Do we have a Jeff Kaplan somewhere? What episode was he in? Do we know who you are? Actress, writer, producer. You in the show? 2 episodes. Oh, she's one of the Salem 7. Vertigo. Ooh, that one has a name. She's a Salem 7. Alright. Alright, so I was just seeing the pictures there for the last episode, see if that gives them anything, but I don't think it really does. So, will we have a bigger bad? They did the Mephisto tease. They gave that to people. Mephisto's not going to be the bad guy. They already gave everybody the little Mephisto name drop just to because they know everybody always says Mephisto, 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 Mephisto. So they had their fun. They gave you the tease of Mephisto. So it's definitely not gonna be Mephisto. I don't know. So I have no clue who else they could possibly do. I don't know too much about this area. This is more on the Doctor Strange side, because technically Agatha, I believe, is a Doctor Strange villain. I think that's who she's probably faced off with some. More than she is any connection to the Scarlet Witch. But yeah, so that's where we stand. 34 minutes, so yeah, we'll wrap it up here. Still liking the show a lot. I mean, there's some musical stuff in it, which is fine. They're witches. They're supposed to sing and chant. That's what witches do. They sing and they chant. Boil, boil, toil and trouble. Or they do rhymes and stuff. I totally butchered that, but that's what witches do, people. They sing and chant. They don't do Iron Man stuff. They do witch stuff. So we got interesting characters. So I mean, Billy's kind of now got a dark side. Agatha's always had a dark side. Rhea's always just been straight psychotically and weird. Perfect casting to have Aubrey Plaza play that character. And other two witches are good. They're good. The Soothsayer one I like. You know, she's really cool. The other one, I liked Alice more. So it's a bummer they killed Alice. I thought Alice was an interesting character, more than the potion maker. Alice is supposed to be the fighter, the protector, so it doesn't make sense for her to die first, but she's the one that's what she's supposed to do. But still digging the show, so we have 3 episodes left. We'll probably do a finale after Halloween, after I watch the next 3. So we'll do a weekly episode thing. So after the show finales, we'll see where we sit. Like I said, it's hanging at the 7 mark still for me. It's still a pretty fun, quirky show. I definitely am enjoying it. So I'm definitely very pleasantly surprised and happy with this. This was a show, overall rating right now is a 6.9. Where the hell does it drop down in ratings? Everything I saw was like, all the episodes were like over a 7. And then we had a couple, the last one was 8.3. So everybody's giving each episode a good rating, but then people are, so that just shows you it's internet stupid bombing shit. Because overall the show's got like a 6.9, so that means people are attacking it. So 72, 75, 75, 72, 79, 83. Overall rating 6.9. Do I even want to see what any of the comments are? Just see some of the stupid. These people are just whiners. That's all the internet is these days. Is just people whining. If they make everything political about everything and have to dig into it. The shows. I mean, it's granted it is only 6.9, but so it's still a 7. But I just find it funny that all the ratings for each episode are over a 7, but yet the overall show ratings under 7. Funny. That's just makes no sense. So yeah, totally enjoying it. We'll see how it ends. See if we get any more characters, any other cameos pop up, or supposedly they're gonna. This is a sort of trilogy, and the next part is supposed to be Vision Store, the Vision one. Hello. Reprinted your connection to that. Okay. Your connection. I don't even know. I don't even know what that is. That's not even what I have open. Looks like IMDb's got some problems. Alright, we'll close IMDb. There's a fun way to end the video. Oh, Vast been crazy. Got mad at me for playing a video game too. But definitely see if we get if we have a bigger bad come up, if there's gonna be something, another person. Does Scarlet Witch show up? Does Tommy show up? Do they find Tommy? I don't. So definitely, and still enjoying the show, and we'll catch back to you when it ends. Until then, Cachorro out.